Okay, today we're starting lesson 12-2, which is point slope form. And we are going to write the equation of a line in point slope form, and we're going to use point slope form to solve problems. Another form of the equation of a line is the point slope form. The point slope form of an equation is found by solving the slope formula, m equals y minus y1 over x minus x1. I taught this as y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So if you want to scratch this out and rewrite it, you can. By multiplying both sides by x minus x1, you may use this form when you know a point on the line and the slope. So point slope form is exactly what it sounds like. You need a point on the line and you need the slope in order to write in point slope form. So the point, this y1 value is the y value of a point. This x1 is the x value of a point. And then the m is the slope. Now, you will always have y minus and x minus. That's the standard portion or the standard part of the formula. The only thing that's going to vary is your x and y value that's labeled y1 and x1 and the slope. Those are the three pieces that's going to change from line to line that you graph. Write an equation of the line with a slope of 1/2 that passes to the point 2,5. Well, you have all your points. You have your m. You have your m, slope. You have your x1. And you have your y1. So substitute those into the formula. I'm going to replace y1 with 5 because that is my y1 value right here. I'm going to replace x1 with 2 because that's my x value, x1 value. And I'm going to replace m with 1/2 because that's my slope. And if I substitute all those values into there, this is what my formula looks like. Now, if I wanted to graph that point, what am I going to use? Go to Desmos and type it in, and you will see this graph plotted for you in Desmos. Try these. Find an equation of the line given a point and the slope. So again, you're given the x1. Now, remember, if you have x minus negative, it's going to change to x plus. So this is x minus -2, so I'm going to change it to x plus. Substitute in 7 for y minus, so this remains y minus 7, and then 2/3 for your m. If your y is negative, then this is going to be y minus -1, which is going to change to plus 1 because minus a negative is positive. And then -5/4 for your slope and -6 for your x minus 6 in parentheses. Determine the slope and a point on the line for each equation. Now, remember, this had to be y minus -4. Well, let me fix that. This had to be y minus -4. In order for that to simplify to y plus 4, because 2 negatives makes a positive. So if -4 is my y, then that's my y value of my point. And then minus +3, and then my slope is 3/8. Slope is 3/8. So just be careful because anytime you see y minus 6, for example, this means that your y value was positive. If you see x plus a number, x plus 3, then again, that means that x minus -3. That means that your x value is negative. Okay, this is your x1 value. Because remember, the formula is x minus x1. So this means that my x value is negative. So just be careful with your signs. The town of San Simon charges its residents for trash pickup and water usage on the same bill. Each month, the city charges a flat fee for trash pickup and a fee of 25 cents per gallon for water used. In January, one resident used 44 gallons of water and received a bill of $16. Okay, so if X is the number of gallons of water used during a month and Y represents the bill amount in dollars, write a point X1, Y1. Well, X1, remember X is the number of gallons. X is the number of gallons. What can we use as the number of gallons? 44 gallons of water. So X would be 44. What represents Y? Y represents the bill amount. How much was the bill amount for $44? 16. Or 44 gallons? 16. So that's where the 16 comes from. What does 25 cents per gallon represent? The rate of change of the bill. For every additional gallon that they use, the bill increases by 25 cents. Use point slope form to write an equation that represents the bill cost in Y terms of the number of gallons of water X used in the month. So Y minus Y1, we're going to use that point 4416, equals 0.225, that's the slope, which is 25 cents per gallon, multiplied by X minus X1, which is 44. Write the equation in item 3 and slope-intercept. So this is going to require some math to be done. You're going to have to do some distributing and some shifting around, moving and simplifying and solving equations, going back to what we did at the beginning of the year, and you should come up to y equals 0.25x plus 5. So I'm going to do this over to the side. I've got y minus 16 equals 0.25 times x minus 44. That's an x, best I can do. So I'm going to have to distribute y minus 16 equals 0.25x. And then what is 0.25 times 44? Well, that's going to be 11. Minus 11. Now I need to add 16 to both sides because my ultimate goal here is to get y by itself, to isolate y. So I'm going to add 16 to both sides, and that gives me that y equals 0.25x plus 5, which is what your answer is. And it represents the flat fee. The y-intercept, which is 5, represents the flat fee. Check your understanding 5 and 6. I want you to do individual work on your own. Jamila and Ryan were asked to write the equation of a line through the points 6, 4, and 3, 5. Both Jamila and Ryan determined that the slope was negative 1/3. Jamila wrote the equation of the line as y minus 4 equals negative 1/3 times x minus 6, and Ryan wrote the equation as y minus 5 equals negative 1/3 times x minus 3. Rewrite each student's equation in slope-intercept form and compare the results. So if you simplify both of their answers, you'll see that the equations written in slope-intercept form are the same. They are the same. The only difference is that Jamila used the point 64 and Ryan used the point 35. Whose equation was correct? Well, they were both correct because they represent the same line. Find the equation and slope form of the line shown in the graph. Now, going back to Jamila and Ryan, it doesn't matter which point you use. It can be any point on the line, just as long as you use the x and y of one point and the x and y of a different point, as long as you use the x and y of the same point. You couldn't use 6 and 5 in this case, or 3 and 4. You have to use 6, 4, and 3, 5. And then the slope, of course, would be the same. Find the equation and slope. Find the equation in point slope form of the line shown in the graph. So they used the point 2, 2, which is this point here, and use the slope of 5. Now, you could also use any point. You could use 3, 7 as a point as well. You could use 3, 7 as a point. Write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. If I wanted to write this in slope-intercept form, I would need to distribute the 5, and that would give me y minus 2 equals 5x minus 10, and then I need to add the 8, and that's where I get y equals 5x minus 8. Check your understanding, 10 and 11. And then lesson 12 to practice. Numbers 12 through 16 is for homework. And don't forget about the activity practice for 12-2, which is on page 191 and 192.